Greetings viewers, Eric the Car Guy back with another Odyssey modification video. In previous videos we installed a roof rack and crossbars on this 2012 Honda Odyssey. It's a 4th generation Honda Odyssey, goes from 2011 to 2017. Today we are going to add a cargo carrier to that. So it's all been leading up to this. So we're going to walk you through the steps on attaching this particular cargo carrier. However, honestly, the steps in this video will probably apply to a lot of different applications. So if you're looking to put a cargo carrier on your vehicle, this is your video. I'm going to start by saying that this is not a sponsored video for a sport rack. I just picked this one up. It had good ratings and it looked like it would work for my application. It came in a box, but pretty much as you see it here, the keys would take to the outside. Can lock it up, unlock it, open it up, and this is what we have inside. Some instructions and also some hardware in a bag. Looking at the instructions and this hardware, it doesn't look like you're going to need a whole lot of tools. Now you may or may not need one of three things to do this installation: a ladder, a friend, or a step stool. Now I'm choosing not to use any of those three things that I just mentioned, and I'm going to lift up the cargo carrier and put it on top of the van myself. Now it's not heavy, but it is kind of awkward. Once you've got it on top of the vehicle, try to get it centered between whatever supports that you have. And there's also some holes that go through the bottom of it that you need to line up for these cross rails. There's little U-bolts that need to go over the top of it. So you need to try to line those up. And you also need to make sure of one more very important thing, that if you have a lift gate like on the back like this van does, you want to make sure that it can go all the way up and not cause any interference. Now with these holes in the bottom, you've got to match them up to your attachment points on the roof rack, and you want to make sure you have a bolt hole on either side. You need to move it around to try to get it in position, and you need to do that in the front and the back. I'm lined up in the rear, and I'm going to be able to get this U-bolt into place back there, because this actually spans over 3 holes. But unfortunately here in the front, I can get into the rear hole, but there isn't a hole in the front that I can get to make the attachment. So we're going to have to drill a couple of holes. I'm going to dig into the hardware kit here. We got 4 of these U-bolts. Got enough of these speed nuts. This is why I said you don't really need a whole lot of tools. We also have these brackets, and these are to cover up the empty holes. So knowing that that is the correct distance and size hole we need, even better, this. Since we know that, we know where we need to drill our holes. All right, so I'm going to use this support as a template and just line it up with the existing holes. And then I will make my mark. And it looks like they have provisions for another set of holes here. And just for, as I say, a good measure, we can check it with our U-bolt, see if it's going to work. I'm going to use a 5/16 drill bit to drill this hole. However, if it doesn't quite fit, you can always drill the hole a little bit larger and you'll probably be okay. Going to do the same thing to this side. So line up the holes. Just going to check the alignment here real quick. Looks good. And then I'll take the U-bolt. Fits in there just fine. In the materials that they gave us these little black plastic circles, which I believe are to cover up the holes that you are not using. It seems that now is a good time to do that before I get it mounted up on the van. So I'm going to cover up the holes that I'm not using. Now in the rear here, I am using this one and this one, not using these two. So I'm going to cover these 2 holes up and then cover up the other holes in the front that I am also not using. This is also going to make it easier when we go to mount this back up on the vehicle after taking it off, because we'll know what holes we're using. To make it easier, I'm just going to flip it around to get into the other side. This is the order in which things get fastened So the U-bolt goes underneath your roof rack. Then there's this lower support. Then there's a support inside, and then the fasteners go on top of that. Now let's show you how that looks over here at the car carrier in real life. So plate goes up underneath. And bolt goes around the roof rack. Inside we have the inner support. This goes on like this. And then we have our nuts. And you do that at all four corners. Be sure to center it up. Nailed it. All right, now I've got to open it up. This might foretell my future as I try to use this on the road. So it might be handy to have a step stool with you on the road when using this, just so you can get in and out of it. I'm going to take my inner support and my nuts and put them inside. I have the outer support and the U-bolt coming in from this side. Start with that. Yeah, it occurs to me that actually pushing it through like this before you insert it seems to make things a little bit easier. There we go. And this where having a ladder might be handy. Yeah, it's a lot better. Oh, so much better. I'm not going to run them down all the way just yet. I'm going to wait till I have all four connected, make sure it's in position, and then I'll tighten it down. Because if it's slightly off on the roof, as you're driving down the road at speed, the aerodynamics will be affected. Now that I've got everything attached, I'm going to go around one more time, make sure it is centered, and then I'll tighten everything up. Now that I'm sure everything's centered up, I'm going to go around and snug everything up. It's on there. Well, I hope that was helpful if you're looking to install a roof-mounted cargo carrier on your vehicle. As stated at the beginning of the video, I have videos on installing these roof rails and these crossbars that I will link down in the description for you in case you need to get to this point. I didn't really think it was all that difficult. May require a little bit of adjustment. Make sure you get it straight. A buddy would be helpful. A ladder would be helpful. And also with this rear opening on this van, probably not a bad idea to have like a step stool or something with you as you travel, just so that you can get up there and get access to it. Aside from that, if you have automotive questions not covered in this video, I'm going to put a link in the description to EricTheCarGuy.com, which is where I ask you to go. Please don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, do all those things that help make a living. I really appreciate that. Also, don't forget to ring the bell for notifications when I post new videos. Be safe, have fun, stay dirty. I will see you next time.